Hey, what's up everybody? Jim here with another video review. Yep, it's been a little while since I did that custom showcase video of Prime Knockout. But yeah, we're back with more Transformers Prime, though this time it's unofficial stuff. This time we got a new knockoff from APC Toys. This is Galaxy Mob, the knockoff of a good quality knockoff of the Prime Robots in Disguise Vehicon figure. As my camera starts taking a crap when it comes to focusing on the figure. Focus on the figure. Focus on the car. Come on. There we go. That's better. But yeah, as you can see, we have a completely black luxury car with some purple in places. Translucent pieces for the front windows. Well, obviously for the windshield and the door windows, but that's because the whole roof is translucent plastic. But also translucent pieces for the front headlights is what I meant to say. With itty bitty little bits of purple paint in there, along with some purple vent detailing, kind of acting as the radiator grille. That's cool. Very intimidating looking luxury car. It looks pretty sinister, and also we have purple paint here on these back stripes, and even on the tail lights, though it's a little bit difficult to see. But definitely here on these little, on these three tiny little bulbs that are molded there. Like, it does look like the taillights are molded partially here on the top, but that bit isn't painted. Nor is the rear window. God damn it. But the car rolls okay, depending if you have a good enough amount of ground clearance. Though this one doesn't roll too well. I mean, these wheels roll sort of okay, but whatever. But yeah, it's a cool looking car. Here he is next to B. I mean, it's weird that he's completely black though, because if I remember correctly in the show, he was actually purple. Though we can all agree that this is definitely one of the most, if not the most, criminally underused vehicle mode in all of Transformers Prime, because we only saw the car Vehicon transform a total of 3 times. Twice in the opening episode, Darkness Rising, Part 1, where we saw 2 of them both transform from car to robot, and then back from robot to car. And then the third one in the episode -1, I believe. Hold on, I actually got to look this up on the wiki. Professionalism. It's the episode. It's the episode where it's revealed, where we learn that Smokescreen actually has an Omega key in him. Close towards the end of season 2. But I'm just quickly looking it up here. Let's see. Oh, Inside Job. Inside Job. The episode where, you know, he falls from the... He actually jumps off the flight deck of the Nemesis to make his escape. But yeah. We saw the last car Vehicon transformation of the whole series in that episode. From robot to car, actually. Just as Megatron accidentally threw a car Vehicon off the Nemesis its flight deck. You should have paid a bit more attention to which Vehicons you were throwing off, Megatron. If they got wheels, don't throw them off. If they got wings, you can throw them off because they can transform into a tiny 2-seater spaceship that looks like a flying car with wings. So, you know, they can actually fly. These guys cannot. So that was a bit long-winded, I will admit. as for playability, he actually comes with 2 of these guns. Like I believe the actual Hasbro and Takara, the actual Hasbro version only came with 1 of these guns, but this guy comes with 2 of them, and they're symmetrical, so they're opposite molded of each other, so you know, mirrored copies, which is kind of cool. A little bit of metallic purple paint on the top there. You can peg them in here on these in these 5mm holes above the rear wheels, which looks pretty cool. But you can also use these long tabs here, these tabs here, to actually plug them on these tiny notches just behind the headlights. So you got guns that pop out of the nose. That's actually kind of cool. It's a little bit of a chore to actually get them. There we go. That actually looks pretty decent to a degree. But yeah. Transformation for this guy. Oh boy. He's a shell former. But it's the best shell form of all time. Usually when you think the word shell former, that's a term used to describe Transformers toys where the robot doesn't do a whole lot of transforming, actually. Like, most of the alternate mode is just like big chunks of shell that form, you know, kibble. With this guy, no sir. So we disconnect the sides partially here. So the rear wheel arches and the doors, they come off and move backwards on this hinge and the shoulder ball joint. And then we take the entire top of the car and fold it forward like this. Told you it was a shell former, but he's a really good shell former, because this is the awesome part. Now, unfortunately, you can't do this while this is still tapped together. You have to split it in half, which I hate. And yes, I did actually kit bash this tab here myself. But hey, at least he still transforms. It's not broken or anything. So what we do, you take the spoiler and fold that in. Then you fold in the rear window. Okay, actually, yeah. Basically, you get the idea. For those of you who haven't seen it, we basically fold the entire top of the car in on itself. So we fold the spoiler underneath the rear window, that folds underneath the roof, and that actually folds into the underneath the nose portion here. Feel free to, yes, you may wage war amongst yourselves whether or not it's a bonnet or a hood, but you get the idea. And then, as you just see, we close it up by pulling down the foot and the front of the lower leg. See? But yeah, again, fold the spoiler in, fold in the rear window, fold in the roof and windshield, and pull down the shin and the foot. And fold and rotate the front pieces here, like these pieces of the car with the mirrors, the front wheels, and the headlights, and rotate them so that they're kind of diagonally pointing down. It's a very simple, the transformation is really simple, but it's so cool to do. That's this figure's big strength here. In fact, he's actually getting fit. Oh god, not again. I was saying that he was actually getting fairly tall, but we are experiencing some technical difficulties as I have to gently lay down my camera because once again I pulled one of the legs of my tripod out a bit too far, so it came off right down. I accidentally pulled it out right down along with the washers. Put that back in. Put the figure back. From here on out, it's just simply folding down the back, pulling it down a little bit further to initiate the dramatic head reveal, which is indeed a semi-automorph. Yeah, a little bit of an automorph. And then you readjust the arms like this. So we rotate the door downwards, fold it out on the ball joint, fold that hinge in, and then rotate the door down to create arms like this. Door down, maybe hand out already, open, hinge, fold down. Yeah. And there we have the Vehicon in robot mode. Very cool transformation, very cool looking figure. Like, Hasbro and Takara have done a wonderful job with the design, and APC Toys have done a really good job at reproducing it and not make it shit. Like, the only major difference, obviously, is the fact that he doesn't have any Decepticon symbols. He doesn't have one here on his chest, and, let's see. There was supposed to be one here on the nose, but yeah, if you have enough, if you have stickers, you can easily fix that yourself, but I don't have any stickers anymore. But yeah, really, really good job on, between all three companies. Though then again, this is definitely a knockoff of the Hasbro version, because the Takara version of the Vehicon from the Prime Arms Micron toy line was obviously a little bit different. I think it had a little bit less paint, obviously in favor of doing some of the color detailing in foil stickers that you have to apply yourself. There were extra weapon ports here, and of course it came with a little with an Arms Micron that turned from a bulkier version of this gun into his into a pet iguana. Jesus Christ, my... Why are you not focusing on the figure? God damn it. I actually have to move my keyboard, don't I? Oh, this is going to be a bit of a handful. Easy, easy, easy. There we go. That's better. Also, what I'm going to do... You're getting your size comparison, obviously. Here he is next to Bumblebee, once again. Holding the little pistol from Armada Sideswipe. Lol. You can see that the Vehicon is actually just as big, if not a tiny bit bigger, if you actually get him to stand properly. So that's actually kind of cool. Like, a lot of the height definitely comes from the rear wheel arches for his shoulders. But also, a bonus size comparison, just for the hell of it, with Generations Fall of Cybertron Kickback. It's like these two are separated from each other at birth. This guy has been minorly customized. I mostly repainted the back half of his head with gray modeler's paint to just make sure that only the insect eyes are translucent, because this was entirely translucent purple, and his insect head became the back of his robot head, as you can clearly see. But the robot head is basically a Prime Vehicon head on it. LOL. But yeah, it's an uncanny family resemblance between the two. So, that's actually kind of fun. Articulation. The head rotates on a ball joint, but not a whole lot, sadly. The movement is kind of restricted. But, you know, it's there. Shoulders are double jointed. You have a hinge in the chest, and then a ball joint at the end with the socket in the arm. So it's like a proper universal ball joint. The range of motion can be a little bit limited because of that back panel, but this is the only major bit of kibble, really, along with the side piece, like the front wheel arches of the car on his knees. But yeah, he's very clean. But yeah, ball jointed shoulder with a hinge in the chest there. Bicep swivel. Ball jointed elbow, though in though of course it's ball jointed because of the transformation. In this orientation, that's how you get the good looking forward bending. Though you can also kind of use the ball joint as like a secondary bicep swivel to some degree. And you can always make the arms look weird with that hinge in between the ball joint and the bicep. Good old-fashioned ball joints in the hips, so the legs can move forwards, backwards, and outwards. No real major hindrance there. Thigh swivel, though it does appear to be a little bit stiff, but I think if you're gentle enough with it, you can get some range of motion. And a 90-degree knee, or just under 90 degrees, depending on how you look at it. But yeah. And as for playability, he can hold the guns in his hands. His hands are 5mm compatible. So he can do this. Come on. There we go. He can go pew pew bang bang, pew pew bang bang, to quote the great Go. But you can also fold the hands back in. So he just has doors for arms, lol. And you can actually clip the guns onto these notches on the doors. So it kind of looks more like they actually transformed out of his forearm, which is also really cool. And I like to do it in such a way that, you know, I have those 5mm pegs sticking outwards in both modes, in both vehicle mode and robot mode. So yeah, you have a pretty decently armed Vehicon. Now, for a little bit of funny lore, here's actually some pretty cool food for thought, if you will. A very fun little theory, which actually ties into the name that I've given to my Vehicon. But, you know, obviously you have lots of people will just call him Steve in reference to how some of the Vehicons are voiced by Steve Bloom. And then, of course, you have Go, who called his Vehicon Gary, who's like a non-combat-oriented Decepticon accountant. As for me, I go a little bit more serious. The name of my Vehicon is Full Tilt. And yeah, that's actually an actual Transformers name. A little bit of backstory, as I appear to be slightly ripping off Chris McFeely from Transformers The Basics. Plug. The original G1 Full Tilt was just a tiny accessory figure that came with Trypticon. Solid purple with a pretty basic and generic robot design. He turned into a little all-terrain car that predominantly served as Trypticon's chest door. So, but yeah, an accessory figure of Trypticon. Now, we know that Transformers Prime is part of the so-called Aligned Continuity, along with the two High Moon Studios Transformers games. In the 2010 game, War for Cybertron, you actually get to fight Trypticon as the final boss. And obviously, you complete the game by, you know, defeating him. Lol. And then in the 2012 sequel game, Fall of Cybertron, in level 10, we see Megatron go on a mission to salvage his power core. And we learn that Trypticon is still alive from the beating he received from Optimus, Ironhide, Bumblebee, and to a lesser degree the aerial bots, Silverbolt, Jetfire, and Air Raid. But yeah, the most important thing here is that although Trypticon was still alive, Megatron didn't make it a rescue mission. As punishment for his failure to destroy the Autobots, he had his body redesigned, altered and redesigned to his specifications. So he was essentially transformed and permanently locked into his new vehicle mode, the Decepticon warship, the Nemesis, which served as the main base of operation for the cons during the Prime cartoon. Now, granted, you could say that those High Moon games and the Prime cartoon, they don't mesh together that well. But strictly speaking, they are supposed to be part of the same continuity, And this was a fun little thought that I had. So it makes sense for at least one of the car Vehicons to be a Transformers Prime version of Full Tilt. I mean, there are similar sort of design cues. Obviously, there's the red visor, which actually kind of has like a downwards V effect or shape going on it. You have the rear wheels of the car on his shoulders, the front wheels of the car on the sides of his knees. And the fact that, you know, in the show, the Vehicons are predominantly purple. So yeah, TF Prime Full Tilt, everybody. But regardless of what you want to call him, this is a great high-quality knockoff. And here's the fun fact. I actually got 2 of them. As of this recording, I believe there's still a deal going on TF Safari where you can actually buy 2 of them for $60. In my case, I also paid $9 extra for express shipping. Normal shipping options would be like $3 extra or something. But yeah, if you buy 2 of them, you can actually get them fairly cheap. Because on his own, he's sadly about $40 US, which I think is a little bit too expensive for a deluxe. But you know, if you want one, I would recommend buying 2, and if you're lucky, see if you can sell the other one to a friend of yours, or do what I do and just keep it around till your friend's birthday. But yeah, overall score for Full Tilt, or you know, Galaxy Mob, Vehicon, whatever you want to call him, he gets a solid 8.5 out of 10. This is a fantastic deluxe figure, and a true highlight of Transformers Prime. And remember, the Prime Robots in Disguise line, where deluxes were called revealers because of that little automorph gimmick, that was supposed to be kind of like the budget line. Like, people often say that the first edition figures are supposed to be better. Well, this is one of those cases where sadly the first edition figure is actually considerably inferior compared to the PRID release. So yeah, this review went on for way too long, but I hope you still enjoyed it. And I'll see what I'm going to review next. We might even be doing a custom showcase on Cakeback. Well, it wouldn't be a video about the Prime Vehicons without them falling over. Good day, everybody.